In October 2014, a 22-year-old hiker named Kyle Miller vanished in the dense woods of the Olympic National Forest in Washington. What happened to him remains one of the most chilling mysteries of the Pacific Northwest. Kyle Miller was an experienced outdoorsman who loved hiking solo. On October 11th, 2014, he set out on a weekend trek in the Olympic National Forest, a place known for its breathtaking views and, occasionally, for hikers who never return. Kyle had texted his sister, Rachel, before starting his hike. "I'll check in once I'm back." Don't worry. The trail he chose was less frequented, winding through thick, moss-covered trees and steep ravines. Locals often warned newcomers about how easy it was to lose your way in this part of the forest. But Kyle was confident. He packed light, a tent, some food, a GPS, and his phone. By October 13th, Kyle hadn't returned. His sister reported him missing, and a search party was quickly organized. They found his car parked at the trailhead, but there was no sign of him on the trail. Search teams combed the area for days. They found small clues: a water bottle near a stream, a torn piece of fabric stuck on a branch. But what baffled them most was that these items were spread miles apart, in areas almost impossible to traverse in such a short time. Then came the strangest discovery: Kyle's campsite. It was found in an open clearing about 8 miles from the trail, surrounded by trees so thick that sunlight barely reached the ground. His tent was pitched, his food untouched, and his belongings neatly organized. But Kyle was nowhere to be found. What made the campsite eerie was the peculiar arrangement of sticks and stones in front of the tent. They were laid out in patterns that searchers couldn't decipher. Some thought it was a distress signal, while others believed it was a sign of something far stranger. As the search continued, volunteers reported hearing strange sounds at night, low, guttural noises that seemed to echo through the trees. One hiker claimed they saw a shadowy figure watching them from a ridge, but dismissed it as exhaustion playing tricks. Search dogs would follow Kyle's scent, only to lose it abruptly, as if he'd vanished into thin air. Even seasoned trackers admitted they'd never seen anything like it. On the 5th day of the search, a park ranger named Mike Harper found something chilling: Kyle's journal. It was partially buried under a pile of leaves near the campsite. The last few entries were normal, describing the hike and the beauty of the forest. But the final entry stood out. "It's been following me since yesterday. I can't see it, but I know it's there. It doesn't make any noise, but I can feel it watching me. If something happens, tell Rachel I'm sorry." After that, the search was called off. No body, no footprints, no signs of a struggle. Nothing. Kyle Miller's disappearance remains unsolved to this day. Some believe he succumbed to the elements, while others think he fell victim to foul play. But the more superstitious locals have another theory: something in the forest took him. The Olympic National Forest has long been associated with strange happenings, unexplained lights, missing hikers, and eerie folklore. Whatever the truth, Kyle's story is a haunting reminder that the wilderness can hold secrets we may never uncover. Would you dare hike alone after hearing this? Let me know in the comments below. The forest was their escape, but what they found there would haunt them forever. Some places aren't meant to be touched by humans, and this clearing, it watches you back. A group of 4 friends, Ethan, Sarah, Josh, and Mia, set out on a weekend hike deep into the mountains. Ethan had been raving about a secret spot, a clearing he'd found years ago, untouched by other hikers. "It's perfect for camping," he'd promised. After hours of hiking, the group reaches the clearing. It's breathtaking. Tall trees form a perfect circle around a patch of soft grass. But something feels off. Josh jokes, "It's like nature's coliseum." Who's fighting first? As they set up camp, Mia notices something unsettling. There's a burned circle of earth at the center of the clearing. The grass around it is lush, But nothing grows in that blackened patch. She points it out, but Ethan brushes it off. Probably just lightning, he says, but his voice wavers. The group gathers around the campfire, sharing stories and laughing. But as the night deepens, Sarah freezes mid-sentence. "Did you hear that?" she whispers. Everyone falls silent. A faint rustling comes from the trees, but no wind is blowing. Josh shines his flashlight into the darkness, but the beam only reveals more trees. As they settle into their tents, the forest grows unnervingly quiet. No insects, no birds, just silence. In the middle of the night, Mia wakes to the sound of heavy breathing outside her tent. She calls out, thinking it's Ethan, but there's no reply. Gathering her courage, she unzips the tent and steps out, only to find the clearing empty. The burned patch at the center now seems larger. Tensions rise as the group argues about staying another night. Ethan insists they're imagining things, but the others want to leave. Reluctantly, they stay. That night, Sarah is the first to crack. She starts muttering to herself, scratching symbols into the dirt. When Mia tries to stop her, Sarah screams, "It's watching us!" and points to the burned patch. One by one, the group unravels. Josh sees shadows moving among the trees, though no one else does. Ethan swears he hears his name whispered in the wind. Finally, Mia decides to leave alone. As she turns her back on the clearing, the others begin to laugh. Not their usual laughter, but hollow, chilling echoes of something inhuman.
If you heard a scream deep in the forest, would you follow it? For one hiker, curiosity led them to something far worse than they ever imagined. Jake, a solo hiker, is trekking through a dense national park. It's his way of escaping the chaos of city life. Midway through his hike, he hears it, a faint, desperate cry for help. "Hello?" he calls out, scanning the trees. No response. He convinces himself it's just the wind and keeps walking. But the cry comes again, louder this time and more urgent. Against his better judgment, he veers off the trail to investigate. Deeper into the woods, Jake finds a clearing with a torn backpack lying in the dirt. Nearby, there are claw marks on a tree, as if someone or something had been dragged. The cries continue, but now they seem to echo from every direction. His phone has no signal, and his compass spins uselessly. As he moves further, he begins to feel like he's being watched. Jake tries to retrace his steps, but keeps ending up at the same spot. The clearing, with the torn backpack. The cries grow louder, almost deafening, but there's no one there. Panicking, Jake sets up camp and tries to wait out the night. Around midnight, he hears something scratching at his tent. Gathering his courage, he steps outside, only to see himself standing in the clearing, staring back.